You never know what we're going to do when we say that. So.
I need my inhaler.
This is battery acid.
I'm so glad I don't need inhalers.
That was an It reference. I just did it.
Very good. You just talked about it.
You got to keep up with me, bitch.
I'm sorry. I can't.
Okay. We're going to talk about a couple of things in this episode, but the thing I want to talk about is a movie that came out and I didn't see in the theater but watched on cable that is freaking hilarious.
The Coming of O?
Just, the Othello remake. With
Sorry,
Omar
Lawrence
Epps.
Fishburne.
Yeah.
Omar Epps.
Is he in that? I don't know. Did you see This Is the End with James Franco and Danny McBride and
Not
Seth?
only did I see that, I took, at the time, my 13-year-old daughter and my 12-year-old nephew to the movies because I said, hey, what do you guys want to see when we got to the theater? They go, oh, this is the end. It's got Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill.
Because they love Jonah Hill. I was like, oh, sure. I'll go see that movie. Child Protective Services came to my door.
Yes.
And took my daughter away. I couldn't believe I went to see that.
The reason this qualifies for Monster Man, because I feel this is like Ghostbusters in that it's that horror comedy line, in that this really isn't a horror movie, but if
It
you
has
think
the
about
devil.
It's got the devil. It's an apocalypse movie.
Here comes the devil.
And the devil has a big dick.
That he likes to use on Jonah Hill.
That I had to talk about this movie with you because I didn't see it in the theater and I really wanted to. And then my nephew, who's too young to see this movie, saw it and tells me it's one of the funniest movies he's ever seen. And I really trust his judgment. So I'm like, as long as your mother doesn't know about you seeing this movie. So finally, I was about to pay-per-view it.
Right.
And it came on cable. Which if you watch the last few episodes, all I do is wait for stuff to come on cable. And it never does.
Patiently, come on.
But this one, I was like, oh, there it is, holy crap.
Right.
And I laughed my ass off in this movie. And one of the reasons I love this movie is because the actors play themselves. And I was like, if they had called themselves something else.
And make fun of themselves.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been as funny if they had been like, I'm Dan and you're Sean.
Oh, yeah, they were
being exaggerated versions of themselves.
They were the actors.
And I know somebody whose brother is a writer in Hollywood, and she knows some of the guys in this movie.
Right.
So during Funny People, she was at the party for that movie.
Right.
And told me Jonah Hill's the nicest guy you'll ever meet.
Jonah Hill, who's reached out to me on Facebook in the past.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's into horror, so that was kind of cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, he was tremendous in Wolf of Wall Street. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't see that yet.
So, these guys being... And frickin' Danny McBride is the greatest. I mean,
that's the second best thing he's done to Eastbound and Down.
Yeah, and he's so great in Tropic Thunder, too. Mother Nature just pissed her pants.
And Pineapple Express.
Well, there's a lot of Pineapple Express references.
Well, this is like a Cheech and Chong movie for,
Yes, it's Ghostbusters meets Cheech and Chong.
Yeah, exactly.
With those guys. So, there's so many celebrity cameos. Hermione from...
oh my God.
Harry Potter.
When she thought that they were going to rape her?
Yes. That whole scene. I'm watching this movie and just going, I've heard such great things about it. And finally, a movie that lived up to the hype.
Yeah, that was weird.
The Jonah Hill gets possessed. They showed it in the trailer, so it's not really...
How does he get possessed? He gets raped by Satan.
Yes, which is one of
Don't
those...
forget that, with the shadow of this giant dong.
It's hilarious.
Coming down to him.
The power of Christ compels you. Oh, really? Does it? Oh, it's really compelling me. But in that scene, when he's chasing them, right. there's a little scary moment.
Seriously?
In there.
Yeah.
There's other movies where, the Last Exorcism, or what the frickin' the other one, where the Devil Inside. That's a hour and a half possession movie. This movie had 15 minutes of devil possession in it. That was better than both of those movies combined.
Yeah, and devil's possession is like the new thing right now.
Yeah.
That's the hot thing. They did it. I hate to say it, they did it right.
They did it right, and it's only like 15 minutes of the movie.
Right.
And it's hilarious. I would like, so we did a whole episode, go back in our catalog, and our horror comedy episode, we would put this like in the top 10.
Yeah, absolutely.
And one of the great things is it's about the apocalypse. So the whole idea of the rapture, where the chosen
are
people
sucked up to heaven,
go to heaven, and then everybody else is here. It deals with it so well.
Yeah.
And
kind of mocks it.
And kind of mocks it. Listen, if you're a very religious person with thin skin,
that's not the movie.
You may not dig this movie. However, if you have a thick skin, you're gonna love this movie. But the Michael Cera.
Oh my! Michael Cera, who you all know from Arrested Development, is awesome in this movie. A douchebag to the 10th power. When they walk in to the bathroom and he's got one girl in the front and one girl in his ass.
It's so good.
It has to be seen to be believed.
The other thing is,
George Michael.
It reminded me of, you and me will sit around and talk about what would we do in zombie apocalypse. What would we do?
I got my plans already.
But realistically, we would fight over the last Milky Way bar like these guys did,
and drink bottles of water when we're not.
Yeah, that like it's the real life version.
Yeah. Especially for narcissistic Hollywood jerks.
Yes.
Which is what, I mean, they paint themselves to be just total schmucks. So, yes. They're out for themselves. So it's really funny watching them try to band together and screw each other around. Oh my God. It's just, it's unreal.
I'm hot and cold in James Franco. Some stuff he does I really like, and other stuff I'm like, eh.
Yeah.
If you don't like him before this movie, I think you'll like him after this, because he does not take himself too seriously.
He is so high. Does he ever look not high anymore?
Oh, do you remember when he did the Academy Awards with Anne Hathaway?
Oh my God.
He was baked in that.
Oh, Jesus Christ. He should just have he's like Pigpen. He should have like a pot cloud around him at all times. He's incredible.
Jonah Hill is really funny in this movie.
Yeah, Jonah Hill is my favorite part of the movie.
Danny McBride, I think, for me.
He's so
especially Danny McBride at the end of that movie. I don't want to give it away.
Yeah.
But if there's ever like a perfect ending for a character, it's him.
Yes.
Oh my God. And I mean, this guy is hilarious.
He is awesome in that movie.
As it is.
He's awesome in everything.
Yes. So we're gonna Monster Man approve.
Oh,
this is the
totally.
End. Go watch that.
Yes.
Now, on a more serious horror movie vein,
total 180.
Yeah.
Right now. Here's a movie that has no humor in it whatsoever.
We Are What We Are is one of these movies that a couple episodes ago we did the best movies of 2013 according to Hunter Shager, and one of the movies that frequently shows up on lists of best 2013 movies is We Are What We Are. So I went and watched that, and I really liked it, but I think I liked it because of the last 10 minutes of the movie.
The ending. See, there's an American remake that came out last year of a Mexican movie that came out. I'm gonna say 2010.
Yeah, I had no idea it was a remake.
Now I saw, if you have cable, you have Frightnet. It was on demand on Frightnet last year at some point, and I watched it. And it's a movie about a family. In both cases, it's a family of cannibals.
Yeah, that's not really a spoiler, because if you read the preview of it, it sort of insinuates that it's cannibals.
Right.
So.
And in the Mexican movie, the father dies in the very beginning, and the matriarch takes over, and it just goes ape crap. It's them trying to kill people, and the cops are after them, and eventually the cops go and start chasing them across the barrio in Mexico and taking them out one by one. And it's a quiet, slow burn kind of movie. So I was interested to see the American take on it, which still was a quiet, slow burn kind of movie.
movie.
And they changed it where it was the mother.
Yeah, the mother dies right at the beginning,
and the father alive, who was kind of scary guy.
The father, I feel, is the best part of that movie. He is a genuinely scary guy.
He'd scare the crap out of me. He was like my dad on his worst day, but he was like that all the time.
And part of it was who he was, and part of it was an affliction that we won't get into too much.
Right.
But he is one of the, if you watch The Shining, the fact that the father turns on the family is part of the scary part. There's something about your family being the threatening presence that amps up the horror. This is one of the scariest fathers.
I worry about my kids killing me every time I go to sleep.
You would probably be the top scariest father. And then I would have this guy and Nicholson after that.
And they changed the dynamics of the kids in both movies, but I actually prefer the dynamic of the kids in the American version. It's very rare when I can say an American version trumps a foreign version.
Yeah.
In this case, it did, and I thought the ending was a really cool.
This is it. You have to have patience with this movie. And luckily, anytime you start to get a little bit bored, something happens to keep you, re-engage you.
And just kind of you go, holy crap, I can't believe this just happened.
But then, when you see the ending of this movie, that's when you're like, I'm glad I watched this movie.
Yeah. It's satisfying in the end.
It is a satisfying ending of a movie.
That happens so rare in any movie, horror, any genre, where usually the endings, they spit the bit in America.
They could have probably chopped 15 minutes off this movie, 20 minutes off this movie.
Yeah, maybe.
But the second half, it's a slow burn. Worth it. Just have some patience.
Watch both of them. Because they're both really
I want to track down. I didn't even know it was a remake until like this morning.
Yeah, check out check out the Mexican and the American version.
We are. It is what it is.
Que sera, sera.
What will be, will be.
And here, we're going to talk about a book. It's sitting right here.
Book review.
It's a book by, this is first-time author, Jonathan Moore, with my publisher, Sam Hain Publishing. Samantha Fox did a great remake of that song.
Did she?
Who I met.
Naughty Girls Need Love Too.
Mm-hmm. Jack was with me when I met her.
That's true.
This book is called Redheads. I gotta tell you, this is maybe the best book I've read from Sam Hain out of everything that I've read, including my own stuff, which I think is the worst. But it's kind of like a CSI type thriller with a supernatural horror element to it. It's about some person who has been killing redheaded women for decades. And it centers around the husband of one of the victims, who luckily has got a ton of money when his wife was killed in Hawaii. The author lives in Hawaii on a boat. And he got a ton of money from her death because they had all the security that failed. And he's dedicated his life to tracking down the killer. And he comes across a couple of relatives of other victims, and they pool their resources together to track down this thing. And it ends in Scotland. It hops
Hawaii to Scotland.
It's Hawaii in the United States, and it ends in Scotland. There's stuff that happens in Asia and stuff. It is one of the most intelligently written, well-researched books that I've read in a long time.
This sentence here. Part horror, part CSI, part revenge thriller. Redheads gets under your skin in unexpected ways. And then another line. A killer far worse than insane.
I'm telling you, this is a book that you literally can't.
I'm going to read this. I'm going to dedicate this to my favorite redhead, Giovanna.
There you go. For you, Giovanna. It's really phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. I had Erin from Hook of a Book review. She told me I absolutely have to read this.
She knows her stuff.
Exactly. She is I call it the patron saint of Sam Hain authors.
Hook of a Book.
Exactly. We love you, Erin. This book was just, I'm so glad.
You recommended this for Valentine's Day, didn't you?
I did recommend it because it was Redheads. It was red. Valentine's Day is red. And I was going to wait till I went to Horror Hound in Cincinnati, to get it. But I was like, I can't wait. I had some credits for Amazon, so I picked it up.
This is Jonathan Moore's first book, or do you know?
As far as I know, this is his first book, and it is phenomenal. Jonathan, I feel sorry for you because you set the bar so damn high. Good luck following this up, and I know that our editor wants 2 books a year, so good luck on that.
Well, here's the thing. For me, I am not a Sam Hain horror author. A good friend.
He's a Sam Hain horror lover.
Yes. So, from my relationship with Hunter, I've gotten to know some of the other Sam Hain authors and have read their stuff. Now, had I not been involved with an author, I don't know if I ever would have even encountered some of these books, but because I did, I've read stuff like Jonathan Jantz and
Brian Moreland.
Oh my God.
And it's a great book. I mean, they got great authors like Russell James and Mick Ridgewell and Alan Spencer. I could go on. Aaron Dries.
And part of listen, if you're a horror fan and you're only watching movies, or you're only reading the airport books that you see,
stop reading those.
You gotta go to Sam Hain and read some of this stuff, because the Jonathan Jantz and the Brian Moreland stuff alone. Dead of Winter. Oh my God, you gotta read that book. That's great. And then he just did the Witch book.
Yeah, The Witching House.
The Witching House. That's freaking great. And Jonathan Jantz, that guy just keeps pumping out great. So he got Dust Devils.
Dust Devils is coming out. His Western vampire novel and
House of Skin.
Yep. House of Sorrows.
What's the other one?
Lullaby, Darkest Lullaby.
Oh, The Breed. What's the one with the
Savage Species?
Savage Species.
Yeah,
that's it. So when Hunter tells me to read this, I'm like, okay, because this is one of the, if you're on Facebook and your friends are like, oh, I need a good book to read, give me a recommendation, and all your friends are telling you to read 50 Shades of Grey or whatever the latest.
The James Patterson novel.
Yeah. This stuff, I'm telling you, it's worth the price of admission to watch this stupid show for the stuff we're recommending, because just me, I would never have heard of Redheads, and now I'm going to read this, but every other Sam Hain book that I've read, I loved. So
there you go.
Read it.
Check out Redheads when you can.
All right.
Fantastic.
All right, so that's 3 good recommendations we got for you there.
Go forth, seek it out, and enjoy it.
All right, and if you did comment on this on Facebook or on YouTube and tell us what you thought, because we don't like to do this in a vacuum, so give us some feedback. And read your books.
Can we fit in a vacuum? An orc?
If you say vacuum,
vacuum,
without saying the word, it looks like I love you. Actually, it looks like F you.
And on that
note, see you next time on
Monsterman.
Arg.